and the type of skills that we should promote. And then I will try to summarize the talk with some recommendations on how our education system should look like. Let me share with you some slides, please. Okay, I'm going to try to talk about leading jobs before COVID-19 and lost jobs because of the pandemic, and leading jobs because of also the pandemic, and then the importance of skills and future job models. This is a report that was produced by World Economic Forum that 50% of all employees will need to go reskilling by 2025. This is not in 20 years from now. This is in less than 5 years from now. And this tells us about the importance of what also Dr. Isa mentioned in his opening remarks about the importance of reskilling and upskilling. If we take a look at another report that was published in 2016 by also World Economic Forum, we could see the 8 top jobs that were forecasted to be for companies to be hiring for or by 2020. If we could see no health, science, or nursing jobs were highlighted. The jobs that were highlighted include an HR specialist to the type of managers companies would require, to specialized salespeople, etc. This was in 2016. Let's take a look what happened after that. In 2020, again, World Economic Forum projected that more than 100 million people lost their jobs. Just 4 years back, there was a different projection. 4 years later, the whole thing changed. Countries went into a complete lockdown, no travels. People were not able to move from one place to another. So the tourism and hospitality and aviation businesses were badly hit. Disruption took place in 2020, caused many businesses to close down. Even small businesses like food trucks, shopping malls, caterings, even wedding ceremonies were not allowed to take place in big areas and big ceremonies. This caused so many people to lose their jobs in these areas. But as we say, in every challenge, there is an opportunity. Some challenges cause the innovation to boost. We've seen boosted innovation, accelerated acceleration and the adoption of technologies. We've seen things that were not even expected to take place, like teaching from far to take place. Schools and universities were forced actually to come up with technologies and to use the new platforms to provide education to their students. Pandemic also triggered new business opportunities and new business ideas. And we could see some businesses being also born in 2020. Some of the technologies that were expected to take 10 years to be acceptable by the society in 2020, that 10 years was shifted to 1 year, and we've seen the born of these new technologies. This is a short video that we're going to share with you. So you could see that as well about the the use of technology. Sorry.
There's a less familiar story about COVID-19. The crisis is boosting innovation with the emergence of brand new ideas.
mRNA vaccine, a new technology.
And with the application of existing ones in surprising new ways.
The crisis has caused an acceleration in adoption of technologies.
This is pushing the world further into the future.
We've had to build more airplanes than we ever have before.
Often at breakneck speed.
We just closed £250 million.
Businesses are being forced to adapt.
Hello. Oh, thank you. Amazing.
Or face extinction.
Another hammer blow to Britain's retail sector.
This upsurge in innovation will bring lasting change for good and bad.
Could you get into your computer? This is my kid's future.
So what lessons can be learned as the world looks towards the post-pandemic era?
There is an opportunity for innovation to stay at the cutting edge.
So we've seen how innovation boosted technology. The report in 2016 did not mention any jobs about healthcare, but in 2020 and 2021, we've seen a huge growth in the health science sector. As we could see here, that in the UAE, 112% growth was witnessed in the nursing and general practitioners areas. We've seen also high growth in the lab assistants and clinical managers and PCR testing and vaccine development that reached 129%. These things that are changing and the type of skills that being also evolving because of the change in whether because of the pandemic, because of the introduction of technology. This would also need the education providers to consider all these changes and all these development that are happening in the globe once we design our curriculums. Just imagine from no mention of health. As you could see here, the projection in 2020 was that the world was short of 6 million more nurses. So if we are saying that we're having challenges to project jobs in 2050, then what shall we do? How could we respond to all these challenges? We've seen hotels that are without receptionists now. We've seen restaurants without chefs. We've seen cars like Tesla that have no engines and no transmissions, which means that they would need different type of mechanics. And this is also, we need to consider that once we design our mechanical engineering programs. So if all of these things are happening, then how could we respond to that as educational experts? Let me share with you some recommendations about how I see that we should respond to this. The future job models that should consider these 4 different areas. ACTVET, reskilling, upskilling, lifelong learning, apprenticeship. And I would like to focus on the first and the last point more today because of sake of time. ACTVET is a new education model that or term that I introduced in 2018, and I also wrote about it a few articles in the newspapers. It's a blended education learning where we should include technologies, AI, computer programming, science, math into our school curricula. and provide a dual system education. So instead of having one academic pathway or another TVET, which is not perhaps the type of TVET system that we would like to see in the Emirates, but to merge both systems. So instead of having purely academic program that students go from high school to college level, and then once they graduate, they lack the experience and the hands-on experience in their areas, and their main focus is purely academic. So they go back to be upskilled or reskilled, and this is something that we've seen employers sometimes complain about, that they receive university graduates without proper skills. And this is also because some colleges or universities, they don't have enough facilities to provide that. So the model that I'm proposing is that students, once they get into high school, and then perhaps in the future after they finish grade 6, they do both academic and TVET system together. And once they reach grade 10, they do 2 weeks on real job training. And then in grade 11, that would be added to 1 month. And then in grade 12, that will be at least a couple of months in relevant areas. Once the students finish from grade 12, they go to the profession they selected in high school, and they would be able to get credits for at least 2 semesters in university level. And we worked with that actually already with the Ministry of Higher Education, through the Ministry of Education. And we got their initial approval that students who get the right skills could be exempted from at least 1 semester in the university life. So this is about the why skills are important. And everybody now is focusing on the not just the skills, but the type of skills. In 2020, we've seen President Trump talking about the importance of skills, and he signed an executive order to direct all the federal governments to replace, quote, outdated degree-based hiring with skills-based hiring. Same thing with the Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who announced in September same year of 2020 about the program, the Prime Lifetime Skills Guarantee, where the Chancellor said, we cannot, quote, we cannot, alas, save every job. So the country cannot save every job, but the country can give people the type of skills to find and create new jobs. So we need to help the young Emiratis here and prepare them with different skills from an early age. We launched several initiatives that I'm not here to talk about today, but I would like to share with you also another short video about the type of skills we promote for all the young Emiratis from high school level to college level. And another type of skills that we are also promoting across the UAE are the leadership skills. Also, we from talking with students, we discovered that unfortunately some students lack the leadership skills, or dealing with customers or dealing with other staff. They also they lack the knowledge of the company's governance, bylaws, and once they get into the work environment, they experience some cultural shock because they lack that expertise in how to start a new job. So we introduced a new program called Yes to Work, and Yes stands for Young Emiratis Start to Work. We launched this program in 2013. Currently, we have close to 5,000 Emiratis in the database. Some of them finished already diploma levels, and some of them already started their own businesses. Some of the students already finished diploma programs, and they are assistant managers and they are branch managers for companies like Abu Dhabi Co-op, Carrefour, and other areas. The students were also given the time to learn about the supply chain management, working in retail, and dealing with the source of providing the goods to their stores, to receive the goods from the warehouses, to upload it to their systems, to sell it until they provide the customers with the support after sales. Also, we introduced the new areas for Emiratis that were kind of considered to be taboo in the past. Something like working in the bakeries, not selling bakeries, but actually to bake. Some of them already completed 3 years in the program, and they are also starting their own businesses. Another short video, about a second, talking about some of our Emirati across the country, working in different areas. Now, if we are talking about the future jobs and about the skills, about the importance of skills, type of skills, definitely all of that is very important. But how could we prepare our students for all of that? Let's take a look at some statistics that we have here. I've done a study that was completed in 2020, last year, where I interviewed, consulted with many professionals, including 5 current ministers, university vice chancellors, teachers, students, parents, industry. Information were gathered from about 8,000 plus people from the country. And the findings, I summarized some of the findings actually, but I'm sure the study will be published soon, and you will be able to read more information. Unfortunately, the findings were not all good, because of the results showed that we still lack certain subjects. So mathematics skills were not strong enough. Computing skills, artificial intelligence. Also, it was found that teachers in the UAE were not competent enough to deliver subjects contribution to the 4th or 5th industrial revolutions, AI, and also lacking appropriate skills. And when we talked with the teachers themselves, they said they haven't even seen any materials for artificial intelligence, and themselves, they're not experiencing artificial intelligence. So how could they teach something that themselves were not familiar with? Some schools also lacked digital resources, or at least they were insufficient. Some of them were outdated. Also, it was found that English language, even though that it is taught from an early age, was not yet sufficient to meet the admission criteria for some colleges. So if we don't have the right resources, the right teachers, the right digital platforms, the right math, science, if we don't have an updated curriculum, if we have weak English in our school systems, so how could we expect students to have the right skills to meet the UAE vision and the UAE agenda? I think it would be very challenging to reach our targets unless we start again with the uplifting the school infrastructures, making sure that we assist and we help our teachers to go through the right professional development programs. It is very important to also consider reskilling, upskilling as part of our education system. Apprenticeship is something that we lack clearly in our school systems. So this is a recommendation that to consider the right apprenticeship and to strengthen the relationship between the school system and the industry. Industry has to play a key role, but also the research that we did showed that the industry were not part of what we do, and they also criticized the education system for not inviting them once they design their training programs or they design their curriculum. I will end up here, and I'm sure there will be some time for me to receive any questions in future, whether today or through the email. So thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to also take part in the remaining of this wonderful symposium. Thank you.
Doctor, thank you very much, Dr. Mubarak, for this excellent speech. I really learned it. I'm sure that this will be available for everybody, right? The presentation?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Dr. Vidya, please.
So I found that some participants were raising their hands, but unfortunately this is a webinar mode. So you have to write your questions on the chat box and we will address them to Dr. Shamsi. I have two questions at the moment. I'll address them, and in the meanwhile, you can write your questions in the chat box. The first question says, do you think the pandemic crisis and the fear that affects the world, do you think that robots will replace humans in so many things? Dr. Isa has partly answered it. If you would like to add to it, Dr. Shamsi.
Okay, we're talking about different programs and different opportunities all the time. So we were talking about humans doing everything, and then human interaction with the machines. Now we're talking about machines dealing with machines or talking to different machines. No, I don't think that actually robots will take over all the human being jobs. There are jobs that will not be handled by robots. We will still have many jobs for humans. This is another topic. Perhaps Dr. Isa could host another symposium or day to talk about it, but no, I don't think so.
Thank you, Doctor. There is another question. Why did some schools lack digital resources, and what can we do about that?
Digital resources is very essential to all schools, but it's not just the digital resources that actually are being missed in some schools, but even the type of workshops, the type of labs that are available in the schools. Digital resources needs heavy investment, needs regular updates. So we cannot just allocate a budget this year and wait for another 10 years to update it. It needs regular updates and regular investment, and has to be part of the Ministry of Education strategy when it comes to the infrastructure and platform of the schools.
It was very interesting to see that Emiratis are taking to new professions. Even you showed us a video where they are taking to baking. So do you think that this is going to grow in the future? Professions like hospitality and areas which they did not consider before is going to come up now? Is increasing?
What we are trying to promote in our programs, and this is open for all Emiratis, by the way, not just our students, that given the young students an opportunity from an early age to explore, to experience, and new jobs would help them also decide on their future programs. I've been in education for many years now. And what I've noticed that once the students reach grade 12, they still have no knowledge what they're going to study. They just look at their friends and they just go with the flow sometimes. Oh, my friend is selecting that program, so I'm going to try it. They don't have enough knowledge in the type of jobs and the type of the programs that even universities offer. So we need, first of all, the universities to be more active and to have more close relationship with the community and with the students. We need someone like Dr. Isa, who's always sharing knowledge about his university with us, whether in WhatsApp messages, whether in emails. So communication is very important. Our students are very digital oriented now. They could access many informations, but to answer your question clearly, now baking is not as we think of. It's everything, or most of the things are done through also automation. So students would do just perhaps 20% or less of the job, while the machines being programmed to do the remaining. I think it's a good opportunity for students to explore these ideas. As I said, some of them started their own businesses, and this will promote also small to medium business opportunities for young Emiratis.
Well said, Dr. Shamsi. What do you think of the role of career counselors in schools? Can they play a part in this?
Career counselors or career guidance is very essential. And I know that most of our schools offer that. But the question is, I think, is it enough? Are we actually offering enough career guidance to our students on not just on the career they should progress to, but even on things like type of jobs, even rules and regulations of their schools, even about time management. And this is a very important thing. And I wish that project management and time management is one of the subjects that we teach to our students from an early age, where they could even have, because sometimes now they are driven toward gaming, unfortunately. But we try to teach them and counsel them on how to select the right time for the right exercise or the right hobby or the right project. Then that would help them also plan well for their time. And project management is very important skills that we need to embed it in our curriculum.
Thank you, Dr. Shamsi, for your excellent thoughts. We will see how we can implement some of these even at our university. These were really excellent ideas. And thank you for the most amazing speech.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And one last thing that I would like just to highlight, which I don't have time to talk into details, but hopefully in future we could cover, that, by the way, ACTVET is the only area still lack a strategy now. We don't have a strategy in the UAE for ACTVET, and this is something that I also touched bases in my research. So hopefully we could see that being implemented at the country level. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Now we will take a short break, and then we have a very exciting panel discussion on the future of work with Dr. Saeed Al-Dahri, who's the Director for Center of Future Studies at University of Dubai, Mrs. Kirsty Chadwick from TTRO, Dr. Dani Ibrahim from MENA Positive, with Dr. Arun from the University of Dubai as the moderator. Please join us after the break. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Mubarak. Excellent. I really enjoyed it. And I know you since a long time ago, you've always been innovative. And I think I like what you're trying to endeavor, try to change the ACTVET. Inshallah, you will.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.